Boston, Massachusetts. He's a senior analyst with the early warning within the Environmental Early Action and Risk Tracking Hub. Thank you so much, Chris, for speaking to us. Firstly, your reaction to this declaration of famine. Surely it can't come as a surprise.
Yeah, thank you for having me on, and certainly not. Israel's famine in Gaza was widely predicted by IPC and many others, including Crisis Group, my organization. And I want to make two very quick points on this. We've seen over these nearly 2 years of Israel's campaign in Gaza a very clear pattern where Israel imposes a near total blockade for up to around 90 days on all or part of Gaza. There is a famine warning from IPC, and then under immense pressure, Israel very briefly and to a very limited extent relaxes some of its restrictions until that international pressure reduces, until we see maybe a very slight, shallow, fleeting recovery, and then the restrictions come back. And this experiment that was doomed to fail from the beginning, where Israel is trying very clearly to maintain starvation throughout the Gaza Strip, avoiding IPC's definition of famine, was always going to fail. It was just a question of when, and now we finally have our answer. Now, Israel certainly cannot be surprised by this. I mean, most recently, there was a warning specifically for Gaza City from IPC about the risk of famine. That famine was already unfolding. Now, instead of acting to prevent what IPC called unfolding famine in Gaza City, Israel doubled down and chose to launch a new offensive.
And Israel, of course, has denied that famine is unfolding in Gaza City. Chris, would it be fair then to say that Israel has used starvation as a weapon of war?
Yes, we've been saying that for quite some time alongside numerous other organizations. It's abundantly clear that Israel has made starvation a core part of its military campaign in the Gaza Strip, particularly as a means of displacing large portions or all of the population of Gaza. It has systematically attacked and destroyed Gaza's food system, its other critical infrastructure. It has admitted to arming gangs that it has used to attack what limited aid it has let into the Strip. And most recently, when it sought to replace the UN-led humanitarian system in Gaza with the so-called Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, what was delivered was deliberately insufficient. Its initial ration size, in GHF's own words, barely 75% of Israel's previous red line for avoiding malnutrition in Gaza. And GHF did not deliver directly, did not have a distribution site north of Israel's Netzarim corridor, which means it was not delivering to places like Gaza City, where now we have famine. And that was intentional.
So even if aid was to start entering Gaza, say from tomorrow, the UN, other aid groups say they need at least 600 trucks a day. If that was to happen, how long before famine conditions could be reduced or alleviated altogether? Or are we too far down the line now?
For, unfortunately, a tragically high number of people, particularly young children, we are likely too late. By the time you get to a declaration, it's because there is a very high rate of death, particularly due to starvation and disease, and those deaths are expected to rise exponentially. Now, that doesn't mean with a pause or an end to fighting and the free flow of assistance and commercial goods into and throughout the Gaza Strip, we could see an immediate and large reduction in the starvation that we see, and more gradually we could bring down acute malnutrition. A lot of lives can be saved, but action would need to happen immediately. And most importantly, we would need to not go through another of these very clear cycles of starvation, famine warning, and temporary easing. We need, especially now that we have an actual famine, a sustained recovery for the people of Gaza, not just something of a couple of weeks or even months.
We're going to have to leave it there, but Chris Newton from Crisis Group International, great to get your thoughts. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.